Hello, my Sagittarius Collective. This is Zaida Velgara from Becoming I Am, here to give you your message for July 2026. Now, for all of you guys that are new, just giving you the rundown of how this works. I only do one zodiac reading in English a month for every zodiac sign. I usually pick 3 to 4 astrological events, and then I use Oracle and Tarot to kind of tell you how that's going to feng shui for you, kind of like how it's going to affect you either positively or negatively. Remember that these are not personal readings, so if at any time you feel a little offended, I think you should ask yourself why, because since it's a general meeting and you're receiving it and you get offended by it, why? Important to think. Now we have July 7th. July 7th that's next week, like I think Tuesday or whatever. Neptune will be in Aries and will go in retrograde. This will be in retrograde until the 12th of December. This energy hasn't been present since the Civil War here in the United States, so 1861 through 1865, and it represents an internal battle. So this, I think, is strongly being triggered by the Mercury retrograde that happened or started on Monday and will continue until I believe the 23rd of this month. And what it's kind of making you see is what you've refused to see about yourself and the situations around you. And with this, it's creating that turmoil, that inner tug of war. Like, should I stay? Should I go? Should I accept it? Should I not? Should I continue the same pattern or should I not? And so I want to see what and how it will be affecting only the Sagittarians that are watching this message. Look at that. The here and the now, 32, and chopped wood. You know what this is talking about? As you're looking at these two little cards, this is talking about that Eminem song of cleaning out my closet. Okay? It's literally saying that it's time for you to clean out old baggage that has been limiting you from being able to move forward because you're living in the present moment and you're no longer in the past. This is stop crying about stuff that you can't fix anymore because of the past, but it's easier said than done. And at times, the reason why we readdress an issue that comes up, and I'm sure you probably, because you're Sagittarius, during the full moon in Capricorn, that one is a doozy every year. And this one is doubled up by this Mercury retrograde because both of them happened in the same day. But that one usually brings up the old contracts, agreements, the old I want to say religious belief systems that you have. And what I mean by religious belief systems is the core programs that you have in your system and how they negatively have been impacting you. So if you have during this week found yourself hating on yourself or hating on somebody else, let's not focus on the hating on somebody else or hating on yourself. And let's focus on, when did I start doing this? Because this isn't the first person and this isn't the first situation I've been hating on that kind of looks the same as this. And that is the real issue because that's not the program I want anymore. So it's kind of working backwards. And that's what it's kind of telling you here. Um, Let's get more 411s on this. Let me shuffle it just a quick little bit. Okay. We're starting the whole thing with the 7 of voices. What is this? Do you see that there's a whole mess of foxes everywhere? This is the deceiver. This is you deceiving yourself, the situations that have been deceiving you. It's like cleaning house of all the lies you've told yourself. Then we have the 3 of materials. I don't know why. I want to tell you, this is 3 generations back. So these are things that were taught to you by your mother or your father or your family members that was taught to them by their mothers and their fathers and their family members. And the distortion happened with the grandparents, and they continued the distortion to the parents. And instead of the parents addressing this internal battle, they just transferred the drama to you. So look at that. And we have the Four of Materials in reverse. And I love that to be the next thing, because it ends with me. This is, I'm not holding on to this like the backed up constipation in my butt and that I can't poop it out. No, I'm letting this go. I'm not holding this anymore. This is stupid. And then we have the King of Waters. The King of Waters for me, the King of Cups for me, is the emotional intelligence. This is you finally getting away from reactivity, getting away from childhood woundings, getting away from the same shit every single day to now, yeah, I acted that way because this thing happened to me before that was taught to me over here, and I can't trust that intuition that I'm receiving right now because that's linked to that over there, and I don't like it. Oh, I have the cards backwards. The Moon card. Oh my God, I've been seeing this a lot. This happens in the Scorpio reading, I believe, too. And even the Libra reading. This is kind of strange. But this unpacking is going to continue through the new moon that we're going to be talking about next on the 14th of July. But this is removing the illusions, removing the masks that have you carrying a heavy burden that wasn't even flipping yours. You see, the lady is carrying this, but look at all the generations that have carried the same baggage. Two of inspiration. And right here, you're creating a peephole and kind of seeing through something different. And what you're seeing is the energy of the devil. And what that is that you're seeing the lies. You know, when people say, oh, I don't judge people, blah, 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 whole mess of stuff. If you've not done inner child wounding help, if you've not done any background shadow work for yourself that make you, you literally feel like you're losing your effing mind when you're doing that. I'm just fruitful. And these, I need you to keep in your calendar like a reminder of when the Capricorn full moons are, because every single Capricorn full moon that I have had has brought up one of these things, one of these old BS recordings that were programmed before I even have common sense, and how that has played a part of how I trust certain people that I shouldn't trust, how I don't trust people that I should, how I fear different things, and it causes anxiety and it causes tension and stress. All of it is always linked to something like that. It's like going backwards. And we have the 10 of voices. Okay, and this is significant because it is voices, which is the swords. Uh-huh. But do you see how she's, oh, I'm hoping that it doesn't. Okay, do you see how she's like floating in suspended animation? Okay. This is what has you stuck between two realities. This is why you haven't been able to jump into the reality you know you're supposed to be in, because you're a Sagittarius and you just know. This is why. Because there's some BS old belief system that was programmed to you from tatarabuelos, from like, this is like from generations before, and you're literally having to heal, oh shit, from other people. Oh my God. Let me just, you know what I can tell you? I can tell you this for assuredness, okay? I feel like I'm finally waking up because the other couple of signs I did, I feel kind of like mellow jello. You know how people say, "Oh, do your shadow work so you can be healed, so you can move forward," and blah blah blah. And stuff. There is no moving forward. This world is an energy of healing, of expansion. It's a flippin' school. Once you finish dealing with your shit, you start now getting all the information of your ancestors, so your parents, okay, and then their parents that you probably don't even know because they probably passed away before you can even meet them, and then their parents. It's like, and then you're going all the way back to like your past lives and things like that, because you're trying to make yourself, you're refining by the fire. That's what that means. So you keep going through layers and layers and layers of yourself so you can get through the core essence of who you are and be super super shiny, like better than gold, platinum. Okay. And so just keep that in mind. Don't get frustrated if it's like, oh my God, it's something else. Are you flipping kidding me right now? Because that's what the game is. It's just layers and layers and layers. The bottom of the deck, we have the Queen of Cups. And I like this Queen of Cups because do you see how this would be you walking up, and you're going to delve deep into your brains and enter into the portal of your subconscious deep in there. And the Five of Cups, because you've been crying over some kind of spilled milk and you're thinking to yourself, why am I still acting up a fool about this situation? I should be over it already. No, 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 you're not, because you need to balance that out. Six of Pentacles. So you can get to some kind of wonderful, magically delicious center that you didn't even know you wanted to go to, but I guess your guides and your higher self and you decided in the dream state that you're ready, and you're thinking, when did I sign up for this? Yeah, when I was sleeping. Oh my God. This is making me laugh, Sagittarius. You're making me laugh. This is good because the other ones were a little bit too mellow yellow for me. Next one, July 14th, the new moon in Cancer. And I would wish to tell you, yes, do some manifestation work. It's going to be wonderful. But Cancer has to do with what? Your root system. And what is root system? Your ancestors. All the lines in the DNA that runs through your veins. And we have this wonderful situation of Mercury retrograde in the same situation of Cancer. So now we have the moon and Mercury both playing this wonderful game of let's find what is not broken. You know how they say, if it's not broken, don't fix it. This is let's break it because we need to fix it better than we did the last time. And then we have the sun, okay, bringing a lot of clarity, making friends with the conjunction in the sign of Mercury. So if we just if it was already hot, let's throw some gasoline in it to make it a little hotter. That's what this moon feels like. Um, whatever you have been revealed since the end of June, early July's couple of weeks, now when the 14th comes around, girl or boy, it is a lot deeper. That was just the top of the iceberg. There's so much more. So let's find out what this is all about. And it makes me laugh when they do this, but we have the eagle and it says vision, vision. So didn't I just say that you were going to see stuff? And it says, it is time to look inward. Are you flipping kidding me? With an attentive eye. Allow your heart to guide you. And opportunities you never dreamed were possible will present themselves when you least expect it. Get ready for greatness. uh, That kind of makes me laugh because I kind of feel like I just want to be like, yeah, bitch, get ready for greatness. But before you get to the greatness, you're going to feel like you have been put through the ringer and made to feel like utter shit. And they're going to be like, look at how wonderful you look, kind of like that. Oh my God. This is making me laugh. It's better to laugh than to cry, you guys. That's all I'm going to say. High Priestess definitely is finding out something you weren't ready to find out or that you couldn't see before. This is intuitive learning. Oh my Lord. Now my cheeks hurt because I'm laughing. I mean, I'm smiling so hard because it's like, oh my God. Now, for you guys that don't know, I'm a Sagittarius. So hearing this reading, it already is giving me a level of the F. Oh my Lord. You wanted this actually. Look at this. Four of Cups. You're getting the message. And this feels like intuitive messages. Then we have Nine of Cups because you said you wanted it. You said you wanted it. Page of Sticks, which is this page of, and look at his mouth is all like woohoo, and here's the sun. I feel like I think you're naive as to how big this situation is going to be for you. Now, it can be something like, oh my God, I didn't realize that the reason I parted my hair to the side was because I remember when I was a kid, I remember my aunt used to put it like that for me. And she used to tell me I look so pretty. So that's the reason why I always put my hair that way, you know? And you're like, why is that important? Why is that important to know? But then you realize subconsciously, once you realize that the only reason you part your hair that way is because of that situation, and now that you know, you decided, I don't want to part my hair that way no more. I want different hairstyles. And you start going crazy doing different hairstyles. Why are we talking about hair? Because it's neutral. You have to make that figure that out in the way that resonates most with you. Because we're not all living the same reality and we don't have the same monsters that we're dealing with. So hair is easiest for me. Queen of Coins comes out. And the Queen of Coins is something that has to do with your making wise choices, making prudent choices. 10 of Cups. When it comes to your happiness, why is this important? 9 of Sticks. Because you see how he's all crying because his path is being blocked? Okay. I want to get a couple more on that. 9 of Sticks. Page of Blades. Queen of Sticks with the Sagittarius. 5 of Cups, which is crying over spilled milk. And Knight of Sticks. As I'm looking at this, the reason why you're going down this rabbit hole now, if you wanted to know why you're agreeing to this, okay? Because you're about to step into a season in which you're supposed to start being really happy. Like really good things are supposed to happen to you, right? Where you're entering into many new opportunities, many new options, where you feel the connection with your higher self, or you feel a connection with your guides, where you feel more whole, okay? Something that was previously blocked. But right here, it speaks about there are still energies around you that are a little jelly. Let's just be honest, little jelly of you, and are continuing to spy. And if you don't see things correctly, right, as the Queen of Wands, you will take action in connections that will make you cry instead of succeed. And those options, like the options that will make you cry instead of succeed, you will feel very passionate about. Like, this is it. This is what I'm supposed to do for the rest of my life. And then drop something good for what you believe it is, but it's because of a wound. So the reason you're being introduced to this right now is because I perceive that in the past, you have shot yourself in your own foot by wanting something that wasn't for you because it was linked to what you were taught you should want. And here we have the 10 of blades, and that's what's ending. The Knight of Sticks, followed by the Queen of Blades, and followed by the Two of Sticks to the High Priestess. And this is talking about a shit ton of freaking people around you that you're going to be shutting the door to. Specifically, it looks like 2 men and a woman, because you're choosing a new world and you're choosing it wisely using your intuition. And it's not for you to hate the 2 men and the women. Um, Look, 6 of Cups is people from your past, people from your childhood, people that you've grown up with. It's not so that you can hate on them. It's for you to accept, their limitations and accept their paths and accept that maybe it wouldn't be so prudent or wise for you to hang out with these people, right? Or for it might be very prudent and wise for you to create healthy boundaries towards them. Interesting. And then the next thing I want to talk about is the 26th of July. The 26th of July has two big things. First, Saturn goes retrograde in Aries, and it goes retrograde till the 20th of December. This is going to trigger the activation of the Great Reset that happened on February 20th. But this is the opposite end. February 20th was kind of like pushing you into you being authentically you, and these two events, Neptune and Aries in retrograde at the beginning of the month, and um, Saturn at end of the month, and then going all the way to December, is for you to deal with the underneath things, like the subconscious things, the subconscious programmings and things like that, that have actually restricted you from being who you know you are. And this is the removing of the masks. And because I saw so many people coming into your reading, it's the removing of the masks for people that supposedly are important in your life or trying to help you out or in a certain role in your life, and exactly the opposite, people that you think are your enemies, people that you don't like, things like that. Removing all the masks so you can read them correctly, and the way that you're doing it is through figuring out the programs that have been limiting you. Besides that, we're having a node switch. So that is kind of like North Pole, South Pole, and the magnetic poles that we have on planet Earth, but we're having it in the zodiac wheel. And so the North is moving from Pisces, the old world, to Aquarius, the new world. Because Pisces used to be in Pluto, and now Aquarius is in Pluto. So this is the shift. But it's only going to be taking place for 18 months, but still the initiation of this shift. Okay, so this is when you realize the difference between false magic, which is the Wizard of Oz, to true magic, which is the Green Witch of the West or East or whatever the hell she was, right? The one that actually had magic. And so it's telling the difference between like somebody that is just exploiting your somatic moves, right? Some people learn to read people and they see what their wounds are and then they exploit it against them. And that's the magician, smoke and mirrors, switching from that to the energy of real, true magic and creativity. And then the South Node, which is talking about the things that you need to heal so you can move into that energy, The South Node is going from Virgo, where you're an idea island, so many ideas, so much planning, but you do nothing, into Leo, which Leo gives us action to move forward, but it can also bloat our ego. So all that is taking place the last weeks of July, which are going to be impactful for us for a very long period of time. So, of course, we're going to read about that. So, let's see how it's going to affect you. First of all, way over here that you don't see, we have the sign of Libra. So if you haven't seen the Libra reading, something in the Libra reading must be attached to you. But this is talking about correct judgment and balancing your energy. Now we have two runes. The first rune, it is called, this one, Hagalas. And Hagalas is connected to the Tower card. So disruptions, kind of like static, energetic static. And then we have, I'm looking at it because I'm like, is this a Kissara or is this a mahogany obsidian? It's a Kissara. Kissara. The stone Kissara is your tower, another tower, okay? And what I'm seeing with the Kessera energy, it's like, first we have balancing out your energy. Secondly, shocking revelations that you're like, what the hell? What the hell? What the hell? Kind of energy. And then you're kind of like, well, it is what it is. I can deal with it. I can't make things better now. It is what it is. But I can use the tools that I've had right now to help me as elevate. Okay. To my future. And then we have a rune that's backwards, and it's Isa. Isa is backwards. This one I knew immediately. Isa is backwards. That means that that acceptance of, okay, I see now that I was judging people incorrectly because it was based on a wound. I see now my unhealthy patterns. I see now all that stuff. That freaking sucks that I hurt myself and as I was going through this process, because I was judging based on what generations before me taught me, but I no longer want to live that life. It ended with me, and now I'm going to take the knowledge that I have used to be able to move forward. I won't let it freeze me. And then the thing that flew over here, what the hell is this? Shut up. It's a little witch. Look at it's a little witch. That reminds me of the Wizard of Oz, you guys. That's so cute. I didn't even know I had that there. It reminds me of the Wizard of Oz. So that means that you go from being a false magician, which you are just a Wizard of Oz, smoke and mirrors. Your intuition had to do more with you being able to read somatically somebody's energy, to actually being magic. I'm liking this. Tell me a little bit about this witch that shows up here. You broke through. You finally broke through the glass ceiling. It's a miracle. It's a miracle. That reminds me of this show that they have in Latin America called La Rosa de Guadalupe, which are like miraculous events that the Virgen de Guadalupe does for people. Then we have the fishbowl. What about the fishbowl? And the cat's out of the bag. Then you're going to realize that you have been shooting yourself in your own foot and keeping yourself small instead of being able to move forward. This is so weird because I was just having a convo with my sis about this situation where, you know what? I actually do have that. Oh my God. How did I not realize I had this whole time? Here I am wishing and wishing and wishing for something. It reminded me of a client. I'll tell you about it. I did a hypnosis on a person that had an energetic attachment on them because they did a ritual because they wanted to be a vampire. Okay? And then we took out the being, and then we started laughing. His higher self started laughing at him because he said, "Don't you think it's stupid that They literally bound themselves to that energy because they wanted to be a vampire when they already are, but they don't look like the vampires on TV. They are a real one. And so I was like, and that makes me laugh too, because in many cases, when people are going to people to do spell work, right? Especially the ones that do bindings or that obtain things for you and stuff, especially when you have to make a contract with another spirit, the spirit only gives and tells you that they can do that for you because they can already see that you already have it. And so all they're doing is moving things around so you can get it a little quicker. But because you are now bound to them, you can't keep it because you're not of the right frequency, because the one that had it didn't have them attached to you and to them. So I mean, anyways, that's a lot of magic-y stuff, but this is crazy. Oh, yaddy yaddy. Nine of Swords stuck in the head. Three of Swords, and I like this one because it's like one person removing the swords out of another person's back. The Ace of Pentacles to the Ten of Pentacles. Holy crap. I feel that you were born with your head being like full of shit. Like you were literally gaslighted and all kinds of stuff growing up in such a way that your brain was literally compressed. And you doing this next step of this work, it's not only removing swords from your own back, and that means the Three of Swords are like pains from your own, but you're moving pains that I told you come from previous generations. This that you're working on right now doesn't have to do with just this life that you've had. This has to do with how your parents were raised and how their parents were raised and how their parents are raised and where the first seed of this um, cognitive distortion happened. And you're thinking that the investment that you're doing is very minimal, is Ace of Pentacles, but it's actually something that is going to affect all the generations. Knight of Pentacles. This is just the beginning of your walk. Because you're collecting coins. Star card in reverse. You actually didn't wish to do this. Knight of Cups in reverse. Page of Swords. Judgment in reverse. Wheel of Fortune. High Priestess in the bottom. As I'm looking at this, because I know those are in reverse, because I told you, you think you're doing a little, like just healing yourself or doing yourself, but you're actually going to affect many, many generations because of this. And you're in the beginning of collecting these coins. There's still so many more to collect, right? This is a long road of healing that you're going to be doing, like changing so many things because of the fact that this distortion is being called out, seen. You're breaking the ice, the glass ceiling that was above you. But what I find interesting is the fact that we had the Star card in reverse and the Knight of Cups in reverse. I mean, the King of Cups in reverse. And that for me, then we have the Page of Swords, and he's signing a contract, and the Judgment in reverse. And as I'm looking at this, is that Oh, this is making my neck hurt, you guys. All of a sudden, I started feeling like some supine pain here. I think you're going to probably find out that the generations that came before you had, I want to say, signed their soul to the devil. And that doesn't mean that they literally signed their soul to the devil, but they did something like they signed a contract, they made an agreement, they took on some kind of burden that was the reason why everything went to shit. You know, like, I'll give you an example. So like my mother-in-law that has passed already, she made an active decision of buying a plot of land that my father-in-law's mother wanted for another child, but she bought it. And she bought it because it was her husband's money that she took, and she said she was going to pay it back, but she hadn't paid anything back. So what she decided to do was get the platted of land under her name or their name so that she can assure that they can get the money back. And that 500 million years later, she's still past. I mean, she's past. And that plot of land has nothing on it, and the entire family is constantly fighting about that one plot of land. And that is signing your soul to the devil, because you made an agreement, a contract, an agreement that bound your family in a constant loop of fighting and turmoil. One person's active decision, because they took their will and put it in action. And I understand why it was done, but that wrong judgment changed everybody's fate. And what you're doing in this breakthrough that is a miracle that nobody fucking realized is figuring out that first misstep. That was written in the book of life with the high priestess. That is the truth, and that has created the curse in the family so that you can take the seat of authority with the Emperor card. I wasn't expecting this. So it was the choice one person made. Oh, I know what this is. Sorry, that's a personal thing, but one decision one person made, an agreement, and this a giving of land, and it feels like a plot of land that was gifted, that was signed over, that created the whole distortion, and it has continued to create distortions in the family line. But you're going to figure it out, especially by the end of the month. But as I'm doing this reading, I'm like, holy shit, I just realized a pattern. And I'm going to be calling my sister about that. So I hope this helps you. It's a labyrinth reading, but sometimes I go into a crazy tangent, especially as Spirit takes me there. Have a great one.